Hey, Boruto, I came here tonight to tell you something. I've been wondering if I should tell you or not, but it seems like I should. I know who's behind the ghost incident. The entire episode has been leading to this point. Yep, the entire series, as a matter of fact, since Mitsuke was introduced, we all knew this was going to happen, and the last episode just confirmed it. Guys, this is going to be my Boruto Next Generation Episode 12 review. So the episode starts with Mitsuki. He's alone somewhere. It looks to be where the Hokage stone faces are, and he is talking to someone. And I'm assuming that that person is Orochimaru. And we even have a flashback of where Mitsuki was as a child growing up. And I'm thinking that Orochimaru and someone else is walking towards that glass cylinder that Mitsuki is in that's filled with water. And this flashback, from the moment I saw it, I knew it was important. And throughout the episode, you can see where it appears a few times where certain events occur. Also, it's good to know that during this episode, the pacing might have been a bit slow, and it might seem a bit boring given that we didn't have many fights or much action going on. But if you look a little bit deeper at the dialogue that's happening, then you can realize it was a really good episode, and it was mostly geared towards Mitsuki and his character development going forward. And we have assumed in the past that Mitsuki has a lot to do with the ghost incident, and you can see from this episode that he actually does, and he even goes on to confess this to Boruto at some point. But before we get there, we have to look at what Mitsuki has been doing, because this entire episode is predicated on what happens during training, where Mitsuki helps Denki and Boruto to overcome the challenge of the training, but they still fail. And afterwards, he goes on to question himself as to why he did it, and he even asks Shikadai, "Do you know why I did what I did?" And he keeps asking people their connection with Boruto and why they like him and why they get along with him so well. Why so many people gravitate towards him. And it's not really an interrogative question because he doesn't know the answer. In fact, he wants to know the answer in a way that he can help himself. And I think this is attributed to the fact that while he was growing up, he was alone most of the time and spent most of his time training. So his ability to socialize with kids his age is not so good as it is to associate with a mission and carry out a mission successfully. And you can see this conflict with him because he was even saying to Shikadai that he understands what the sensei says and what he means by that you should not abandon your comrade. But isn't it best for you to leave your comrade behind and finish the mission? And you can see the conflict on his mind. I think the best response he's got about Boruto is when he asks Inogen, and Inogen replies that it's simply because he's a big idiot. And he goes on to explain himself. He says that Boruto has gotten sick and tired of being judged just because he is the son of the Hokage. That's why he tries hard to see things through his own eyes, and as a result, he ends up making an incident even worse. He causes unnecessary trouble. That's why he's a big idiot, but that's the reason why everyone gravitates to him. Being accepted without prejudice is a great thing, right? And this is one of my favorite quotes for the entire series so far because it transcends the realm of the Boruto anime series and it can be applied to real life as we go about each day. But for me and Mitsuki, I think it really helped him because, as you can see, with Naruto as he was growing up, he spent most of his time trying to get people to accept him, to acknowledge him, and that's why he said that he wanted to become the Hokage. Boruto, on the other hand, he has talent and he can pull his own weight, but instead of abandoning his friends, he sticks around for them and he tries to help them. He's actually smart, as you can see, he actually helps out with some algebra problem, it appears. So going forward, you can see that Mitsuki spends more time around Boruto and he's actually interested in being friends with him. So much to the point that he says that he doesn't want Boruto to hate him. He said that some episodes ago. And while he was home with Boruto, he asked Boruto about the Hokage, showing that he has some level of respect for him. And he even asked Boruto, so do you hate the Hokage or do you love him? Because Boruto was speaking from two different minds. You know, he's frustrated about Naruto's absence in his life. And he's used to having Naruto around because he even goes on to say that before Naruto was Hokage, he was always there for him and Imawari. But when he became the Hokage, everything changed. He can't be home because he's the Hokage. He can't have dinner with us because he's the Hokage. Hokage, Hokage, Hokage. And then he says that he hates the Hokage and that he's going to do what his parent couldn't do. And this resonated with Mitsuki because you have another flashback, and we're assuming that the conversation that we hear is between Orochimaru and another person, and the person is saying that he has high hopes for him. That's Mitsuki. And I'm not certain if they're going to go down another saga of Orochimaru trying to destroy the village and another Ninetales incident that's destroying the village as we saw from the preview of the next episode. And I'm hoping that's not it because it would have been really boring to have been looking around all this time and this is where we've been led because for the past 20 years when we've had Naruto, that's kind of been a big part of the entire series and I wouldn't want to have to go through that again. So I'm open for fresh ideas, I'm open for fresh concept, fresh material, a fresh perspective because as you can see, they've said that this current batch of ninja is the best they've ever had. And Naruto's batch was also said to be the same. So if they're so gifted, give them something else to do. Not the same usual plot. You understand what I'm saying, guys? It would have been kind of boring. But the best part of this episode, and perhaps most importantly, and the entire reason why this episode was so paced and based on dialogue, is what we hear happen between Boruto and Mitsuki, because Mitsuki says to Boruto that he has something to tell him and that he knows who is behind the ghost incident. And then that's it for the episode. So this episode was fairly transitional between characters, but it was mostly based on character development for Mitsuki and helping us to understand a bit more of his origin and why he is the way he is. So I'm going to give this chapter 8 out of 10 simply because it wasn't such a very bad chapter. It wasn't so good either. We never had much going on, and the little that happened was mostly geared around Mitsuki and his development. But it's really important because given what we saw the last episode, it left a bit of a mystery because it wasn't sure if Mitsuki was the one that was directly related to the ghost incident or he just knows the person that's related to the ghost incident. And given what we've seen in this episode, it's really confirming that Mitsuki isn't directly related, but he does have an idea. He does know what's happening. And it's kind of late now. He even says it's too late right now, and that Boruto can believe what he wants to believe, whether or not he knows something about it. Because right there and then, I think that the monster has been revived, and they're going to go on and terrorize the villagers. It's a bit cliche at this point, but you know what? Let's just try to have some fun. This has been my review for Boruto episode 12. Nothing too fancy, so I've just gone straight to the point and move on. Thank you guys for watching, and as usual, more good stuff coming your way.